Yes, I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, Jeff?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talking. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I was on a Formula One tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
We could be on the tour.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. So salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, boxing in the States, Washington, has the family today. The Boxing in the States series continues today with the great state of Washington. Okay, as usual, we're going to do a little brief history on Washington and then talk about some boxers from Washington. Going to be a short one today, but then we're going to talk about some Mike Tyson fights after we get through talking about Washington State. Only got about 3 states to go. We got Washington, D.C. It's not a state, but we're going to cover Washington, D.C. too, because they got a history in boxing and some great boxers from Washington, D.C. So that'll be next week. And then we got Wisconsin and one more. Washington, Wisconsin. Anyway, it's 3 more, but today it's Washington State. Okay? Now, for the highlights of boxing history today, we're going to talk about Sugar Ray Robinson versus Randy Turpin won. The fight where Sugar Ray went over to England and lost to Randy Turpin. We're going to talk about Sugar Ray Robinson versus Randy Turpin won for the highlight of boxing history. Start the show off today. So let's get into that. Highlights of boxing history. There they are, Randy Turpin and Sugar Ray. Let's talk about this fight. Sugar Ray won the rematch, but went over there and lost the first fight. Had his entourage with him, his hairdresser, the midget. He traveled around with him. He had his pink Cadillac over there. Let's talk about it. September 12th, 1951. Robinson versus Turpin. Excuse me. Now, the first Robinson versus Turpin battle took place in London, England, just 2 months before the second, and it will forever stand as one of the greatest upsets in the history of fisticuffs. But no one could call it a fluke. Now, apologists for the man many regard as the finest boxer of all time point to Sugar Ray not taking the match seriously. The fight was one of a series in an extravagant European tour for Robinson and his massive entourage. Despite the fact that Ray did engage in 6 fights in just 7 weeks, it had been an excursion, light on serious combat, and more about publicity, prestige, and living the high life. Okay? Now, a genuine crossover star, Robinson traveled through Europe with his own personal hairdresser, a dance instructor, a golf pro, a singing coach, his famous pink Cadillac, and a dwarf nicknamed Arabian Night. Now, the fight against Randolph Turpin was to be the finale of the tour, a title defense at Earl's Court in London against a legit, if little-known contender. Okay? Now, the tilt went 15 rounds, and at the final bell, to everyone's astonishment, there was no doubt to who deserved to have their hand raised by the referee. I have no alibis, said Robinson. I was beaten by a better man. What else could be said? It wasn't even close. The challenger, 7 years younger than Ray, was in charge from the outset before Robinson attempted a late rally. But the final 3 rounds were all Turpin, and ringsiders found it impossible to score more than 4 or 5 rounds for the American. Now, as skilled as Robinson was, he was also accustomed to enjoying certain advantages, okay? Generally, taller, longer, and more mobile than his opponents. These attributes, along with his formidable punching power and blazing hand speed, combined to neutralize whatever his adversaries thought brought to the ring, okay? But naturally strong and sturdy opponents who applied nonstop pressure could trouble him, as demonstrated in his tough battles with Jake LaMotta, and as would be the case in the future against Carmen Basilio and Gene Former. Okay, Mike Rem in the building. What's up, Mike? We just starting out talking about the Sugar Ray Robinson versus Randy Turpin fight 1 over there in England. Sugar Ray went over there and lost. For the highlight of boxing history today. Let's salute Mike Rem in the building. Okay, let's continue. Now, Turpin may not have been in Robinson's league in terms of experience, smarts, and technique, but he was younger, fresher, and exceptionally strong. His muscular frame more than substantial enough to allow him to take Ray's shots and keep driving forward. Constant pressure and excellent stamina allowed the Briton to outwork Robinson and bring the world middleweight title back to Albion's shores. And considering how the fight was meant to be, the climax of Robinson's European tour, the impact on Sugar Ray's reputation was nothing short of devastating. Then again, Ray was now 30 years old and a veteran of 132 pro fights. Maybe the glory days were finally over for the great Sugar Man. Maybe it was time for Ray to say goodbye. But before that could happen, there was the rematch. With everything Robinson had built up over the last 2 decades at stake, including the star power he had put on display during that ill-fated tour, okay? The pink Cadillac and all. Sugar Ray Robinson was more than a boxing champion. He was a legit mainstream attraction, a celebrity, a most rare talent, and something close to a living legend for the millions of Black Americans who suffered the indignities of being second-class citizens in their own country. But another defeat to a contender few had previously heard of would put an end to all that. In short, no fight up to this point was more critical for Robinson's image and reputation. Cut in round 10, a desperate Ray attacks. Excuse me for a minute. Got some work going on out here. But he was cut in round 10. So then he was desperate and he attacked Turpin. Okay. Sports fans well understood the gravity of Robinson vs. Turpin Part 2. And a huge crowd of over 60,000 set a new record for a non-heavyweight gate at the Polo Grounds in New York City. A gallery of glittering celebrities at ringside. And what they all saw for 9 fast-paced rounds was a grueling, tightly contested battle. Robinson was more assertive than in the first meeting, bringing his power to bear from the outset with 2-fisted flurries to Turpin's body. He hurt the Englishman with right hands in both the second and third rounds. In the fourth, he scored with some vicious uppercuts. But in the middle rounds, Ray began to slow down, his big shots now missing the target, while Turpin muscled him around in the many clinches they had. By round 9, it was clear the momentum had shifted. A tiring Sugar Ray was again struggling with Turpin's greatest strength and seemingly boundless stamina as the contest devolved into a messy affair with plenty of wrestling and rough stuff. There was no doubt Ray was ahead on points, but there also No question that Randolph Turpin was the stronger and fresher man at this point in the fight. Robinson's fans grew increasingly concerned as Turpin appeared to be closing the distance and making it his kind of fight. In London, Ray had suffered a bad cut over his left eye, and now in round 10, the wound was reopened, possibly from a clash of heads. And if things weren't already going south for Robinson, suddenly the American's face was bathed in blood. Sugar Ray didn't hesitate, showing more energy than he had for several rounds. He opened up with his big guns, gambling on his power. Okay? An overhand right thudded home on Turpin's jaw, and the Briton's legs buckled. Hurt, the champion alternately retreated and hung on as a desperate Robinson pursued and worked to find punching room. The referee separated the fighters, and the Briton, seeking to clinch again, came straight at Ray, wide open, as if to embrace an old friend. And the Sugar Man didn't need to be asked twice. He blasted Turpin with a huge right hand that put the champion on his back. Turpin beat the count, but Robinson knew he couldn't let him off the hook this time. As Ray himself would put it afterwards, it was do or die. Determined to decide matters before the end of the round, right? And the ringside doctor could end it. Robinson stalked Turpin, forced him to the ropes, and then unleashed a fearsome barrage of power punches. The dazed champion had no reply. His legs were gone, and he was trapped. He tried to bob and weave and slipped the bombs, exploding all around him. But Sugar Ray's attack was relentless. Robinson, his face covered in gleaming gore, held nothing back. And after 5 clean blows landed in quick succession, referee Ruby Goldstein, with 8 seconds left in the round, stepped in to halt the one-sided battery. The referee stopped it. Define Arnie 1 in the building. What's up, Define Arnie 1? We're talking about Sugar Ray Robinson versus Randy Turpin 1 and 2. We're now on 2. He lost 1, and he got all bloodied up and was in desperate situation in round 10, but Sugar Ray got him on the ropes right now. Look like the referee just stopped it. Sugar Ray got some big shots in round 10, and Randy Turpin ended up being one of those 109 stoppages Sugar Ray had. Okay, let's finish this off. We got a short show on Washington State for boxing in the States. Then we're going to talk about some Mike Tyson fights. But salute Define Arnie 1 and Mike Grimm. Okay, now Turpin protested the referee's decision to stop the fight. He said, "I was rolling with the punches and my head was clearing. Now, there were only seconds remaining in the round. I didn't want to go down because I knew they were stopping. But what Turpin neglected to note was that he had failed to defend himself as Robinson teed off on him. By staying on the ropes and taking shots, he had left referee Goldstein with little choice. Simply put, he had blown it. The middleweight crown went back to Sugar Ray and America, and there would be no Robinson versus Turpin Part 3. Meanwhile, in the nick of time, the great Sugar Ray Robinson had not only regained the world title, but he had saved his career in one of boxing's most famous and dramatic stoppages. Clearly, Sugar Ray was not quite ready to say goodbye. All right. Sugar Ray Robinson and Randy Turpin, two great fights. They had a split, but they never had the third fight. That should have been a trilogy, but I guess Sugar Ray realized that this guy, Randy Turpin, this Britain guy, had his number because he beat Sugar Ray in the first fight and gave him all he could handle in the second fight. At the point Sugar Ray stopped it, Sugar Ray was in desperation territory. But he got the stoppage. Okay? So let's get to Boxing in the State series continues today with the great state of Washington. It's going to be a short one. And then we're going to talk about 3 Mike Tyson fights. Okay? Buster Douglas, Lennox Lewis, and Evander Holyfield. We're going to ask and answer some questions, you know. If Mike had trained better and been in better shape for the Buster Douglas fight, would the result have been different? Then we're going to talk about the Lennox Lewis fight and the Holyfield situation. Some people say the Holyfield was just better than Mike, but we're going to talk about it. But let's get ready to talk about the boxing in the states, the great state of Washington. And we're going to do Washington, D.C. next week. It's not a state, but it's a district. And it's got a boxing history, and it's got some great boxers from Washington. So that's next week. Then we got 3 left. We got Washington, D.C., Wisconsin, and Wyoming. And that's it for the Boxing in the State series. Hope everybody enjoyed it and learned some things. I certainly did. Yeah. I certainly did. Learned a few things. We went through every state in the United States. Took us a while. Started last year in 2024. Enjoyed the great series. Okay. Today, Washington State. We just got a little brief history and then some boxers from Washington. Okay. Let's get into it. Oh, coming up Monday, we got a big show. We're going to talk about the 4 Kings fights. There were 9 4 Kings fights altogether. We're going to dig into each one of them. We're going to talk about the build up to the fights, the actual fight, and then the aftermath of the fights. 9 altogether. Sugar Ray was in 6. Sugar Ray was in the most. He was in 6 4 Kings fights. Duran was in 5. Hearns was in 4. Hagler was in 3. Hagler was the only 4 King that never had a rematch with any of the others. Hagler's the only one that fought all the 4 Kings just once. And we're going to talk about all 4 Kings had legendary trainers. You know, Duran had Ray Arcel. Sugar Ray had the great Angelo Dundee. And Hearns had the legendary Emmanuel Stewart. And Hagler had the, brain lock. The 2 brothers. And they don't get talked about as much as the other 3 Kings trainers, but those 2 brothers, one was Hagler's manager, one was his trainer. They were just as legendary as Ray Arcel, Angelo Dundee, and Emmanuel Stewart. But they don't get the credit that they deserve, okay? I'm getting ready to tell you the names. I was just saying them like 10 minutes ago to myself. I'm going to tell you. I guess y'all saying, yeah, right. No wonder they wasn't that friendly. You can't even think of the names, Cass. Oh, my goodness. Petronelli. And I thought about it before it came up. The Petronelli brothers. Yeah. Great train. One was his trainer, one was his manager. Very underrated trainers. All 4 Kings had legendary trainers, and we're going to cover them Monday, too. But that's coming up Monday. Tomorrow, the profile is the life and career of Vernon Forrest. Okay, Vernon Forrest tomorrow for the profile this week. I know I had said Marco Antonio Barrera, but he's next week. We're going to do Vernon. Vernon had a tragic ending to his life. He was murdered getting gas at a gas station. It was a robbery. And when Vernon messed up after the guy robbed him, he chased him. He should have just let the guy take the money and go, but Vernon chased the guy, and then he ended up getting killed because the guy had people waiting for him. the getaway car was parked a little ways away from the gas station where Vernon was robbed at. And Vernon chased the guy, and that's when they killed him. He should have just let the guy go. Money and all that can be replaced, but once you go 6 feet under, that's it. So he should have just let the guy go. But hindsight is 20/20 vision. That's what they say. Yeah. But we're gonna talk about all that tomorrow. Yeah. So it should be a pretty good profile. Okay. 2:30. I was trying to stall. Bad luck to start before 2:30, but it's now 2:30. All right. How's everybody this Thursday afternoon? Hitting for the weekend. Some more live boxing. We're going to talk about that later when I drop the link about what's coming up this weekend. We're almost to June. Got a big DB3 card in June. I don't think Tank and Lamar Roach is in June anymore, is it? Somebody said something about August. I know Shakur Williams Zepeda is in July. But that's a big card. Keyshawn is taking on Evan De Los Santos, right? So that should be good. Abdullah Mason is on the card taking on Nakathila. That'll be the youngster's biggest test to date. So yeah, that's getting close. But Washington State, boxing in the States, Washington. A little short one. Now, boxing in Washington State has a rich history with early venues like Seattle's Crystal Pool hosting fights in the 1920s and 1930s. Prominent boxers from the state, such as Freddie Steele and Pat McMurtry, have also left their mark. And we're going to get into the boxers from there in a few minutes. Now, Golden Gloves boxing in Tacoma has also been a significant part of the state's boxing history. Now, the early venues and events. The Crystal Pool. Seattle's Crystal Pool, a natatorium, whatever that is, a natatorium, built in 1915. It's got something to do with water. It was built in 1915. It was a popular venue for boxing, hosting fights with service boxers, particularly during World War I. First fights. Now, the first boxing program at the Crystal Pool was held in 1917, and it continued to be a venue for boxing into the 1930s. Seating and capacity. Now, the Crystal Pool was adapted for boxing by draining the pool, covering it, and seating approximately 2,000 spectators around the ring. Okay, now briefly look at some of the most prominent boxers, then we're going to get into them a little bit deeper later. Freddie Steele, a notable boxer from Tacoma who competed against many champions and contenders. Pat McMurtry, another Tacoma boxer who was a Golden Gloves champion and also competed against notable opponents. Al Harstack, a boxer from Minneapolis who also had a career in Washington State. Ray Seals, Sugar Ray Seals, was a Golden Gloves champion from Tacoma, who also achieved national recognition. And the Golden Gloves boxing. Golden Gloves boxing has a long and storied history in Tacoma, Washington, with many local boxers starting their careers in the amateur ranks. Okay, many of them. Notable champions. Now, several Tacoma, Washington boxers, including Freddie Steele, Pat McMurtry, Sugar Ray Seals, and others, achieved success as Golden Gloves champions. Okay, now let's talk about some boxers from Washington. Some other boxers. Go a little deep into the boxers from Washington. And then we're going to talk about 3 Mike Tyson fights. Now, Washington State University had a nice boxing history. Because, like I was saying, 30s, 40s, 50s, Used to be an NCAA tournament in boxing, but a boxer died as a result of a fight in the 60s. So a lot of schools dropped boxing. They stopped the tournament. And yeah, that was really the end of college boxing. Some colleges have boxing today, but it's more like an intramural program. Like, don't really compete against other schools, just like intramurals. Training, staying in shape, that sort of thing nowadays. Bruce Gass, boxing, jazz, and more. Yeah, Leo Randolph from the 1976 Olympics, Bruce Gass. Yeah, can't forget him. But salute Bruce Gass. Yeah, he won the gold. Yeah, let's talk about some boxers from Washington. But salute Bruce Gass. Okay, first, Pete Rademacher. Yeah, he won the gold medal like 1952. He got a title shot. His debut fight was a title shot. Pete was. Pete Rademacher against Sugar Ray. No. Floyd Patterson. Floyd Patterson was heavyweight champion. There's Pete on the left. Wait a minute, that's not Pete Rademacher. I didn't change it. It is Pete on the right. Pete on the right. Okay, Pete Rademacher. Salute, Bruce. He's from Pete is from Tieton, Washington. Tieton. Tieton. Yeah, that's where Pete Rademacher is from. Right there. Tieton, Washington. Now, Thomas Peter Rademacher, he was an American heavyweight boxer. Now, as an amateur, he won a gold medal at the 1956 Olympics. Now, Rademacher became the only person to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship in his first professional fight when he faced Floyd Patterson in Seattle, Washington on August 22nd, 1957. And Pete finished his career with 15 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 8 knockouts. Okay, Pete Rademacher. Got a female boxer next. That's her on the left. Para Drain. Now, Para Drain, she's an American female boxer who has been a world champion 2 times. She's a former 112-pound and current 115-pound champion, right? Currently active. Drain stands 5 foot 8 inches tall, making her relatively tall for a boxer of her weight. Yeah, because Fedora's sister, she's 5'9" at 112. Para Drain is 5'8". No, she's at current 115. She's at 115, but Fedora's sister's 5'9" at 112. So yeah, that is tall at 115 too. Yeah, relatively tall for a boxer at her weight. And Drain's nicknames are Hurricane and the Spokane Spike. Para Drain. And she's from Seattle, Washington. Currently 13 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 2 knockouts. Currently has 20 fights. Still active. Still actively boxing. Okay. Boone Kirkman. Boxers from Washington. Boone Kirkman. There's Boone. Boone Kirkman. Now, Boone is from Seattle. He was born in Vallejo, California. Okay. But he boxed his career out of Seattle, Washington. Daniel Victor Boone Kirkman, former heavyweight boxer. He was a contender throughout his career and scored notable wins over heavyweight world champion Jimmy Ellis, as well as top contenders and heavyweight title challengers Eddie Macon, Doug Jones, Jose Ramon, and Ron Standard. He got some big names under his belt. And Boone finished his career at 36 wins, 6 losses, 25 knockouts. Here's a big one. Big name out of Washington, Sugar Ray Seals. Sugar Ray Seals. Sugar Ray's from Tacoma, Washington. Now, he was born in St. Croix, Virgin Islands, but his family moved to Tacoma, Washington in 1965. 1965, okay? Now, Sugar Ray, he was the only American boxer to win a gold medal at the 1972 Summer Olympics, right? As a pro, he fought middleweight champion Marvin Hagler 3 times. He is also the former North American Boxing Federation and United States Boxing Association middleweight champion, Sugar Ray Seales. And he finished his career at 13 wins. No, that's not Sugar Ray. 57 wins, 8 draws. 57 wins, 8 losses, 3 draws, and 34 knockouts. Sugar Ray Seales. Freddie Steele. Yeah, he's one of the big names as far as boxing in Washington State. Freddie Steele. We just mentioned Freddie briefly. Now, Freddie, he was a boxer and a film actor, right? Born Frederick Earl Burgett in Seattle, Washington. He was recognized as the National Boxing Association middleweight champion of the world between 1936 and 1938. He finished his career with 125 wins, 5 losses, 11 draws, 1 no contest, 60 knockouts, 125 and 5. Rocky Lockridge. Y'all heard of Rocky, haven't you? There's Rocky Lockridge. Rocky Lockridge from Tacoma, Washington. Rocky Lockridge from Tacoma, Washington. Earth to Rocky. Oh, yeah. Okay. Rick Rocky Lockridge. He was a 2-time world boxing champion who held the International Boxing Federation and World Boxing Association, IBF and WBA, super featherweight titles. Okay. He was known for defeating Roger Mayweather in the first round, earning him the WBA and lineal titles in just 98 seconds. Lockridge boxed for the Tacoma Boys Club and was inducted into the Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame. Rocky Lockridge finished his career with 44 wins, 9 losses, 36 knockouts, 81.8% knockout ratio. Not bad. Not bad at all for Rocky. Some boxers from Washington. Julius Fogel. I'm not from no Washington. Now they got off track. Pretty. Rocky. Julius Fogel. Okay. Julius Fogel. And Julius is from Tacoma, Washington. Okay, these are boxers from the great state of Washington. Talk about Julius briefly. Now, he was a recruiter also a recruiter for the United States Army, and he served 20 years of active duty. After his military and boxing career were over, he started a career as a stand-up comedian and author. Very versatile guy. Boxer, military man, comedian, and author. His book, which is an autobiography, is called The Last Round. That's the name of his book, The Last Round. From Tacoma, 16 wins, 10 losses, 1 no contest, 11 knockouts. Rocky Lockridge. Here we go, Bruce. Leo Randolph. Leo on the left there. Olympic gold medalist on that great team in 1976, arguably the greatest Olympic team ever, not just United States, ever in the world. 76 was, yeah, they had a Leo Randolph, Sugar Ray Leonard, the Spinks brothers, Howard Davis, Big John Tate. That team was loaded, man. Loaded. Yeah, Leo Randolph is from Tacoma. He was born in Columbus, Mississippi, but grew up in Tacoma, Washington. Okay. And he's a former boxer. He won the flyweight gold medal at the 1976 Summer Olympics. Leo did. He only had like 27 fights. No, 28. He won 17, only lost 2, had 9 knockouts. Leo Randolph, former Olympic gold medalist, Leo Randolph. And on that 1976 team. Todd Morgan. It's got a couple more. Then we're gonna talk about some Mike Tyson fights today. Al Booger. What's up, Al Booger? We're gonna talk about some old Mike Tyson today, AB. Dig into Buster Douglas a bit more. Some things we haven't talked about before. Lennox Lewis and the Evander Holyfield situation. Okay. So that's going to be good. Let's finish off these boxers from Washington. Todd Morgan is next from Dungeness, Washington. Dungeness, yes. Right there. Dungeness, Washington. Okay. Todd Morgan. All right. Yeah, Todd from Dungeness, Washington. He was an American boxer. Took the Undisputed World Todd Morgan, Dungeness, Washington. He was the Undisputed World Champion. Okay. Next, Johnny Bonfils. Johnny Bonfils. There's Johnny on the right there. Well, he's the only one in the picture. Yeah, it's got to be Johnny. Johnny is from Tacoma, Washington. Johnny Bonfils. It's got a couple more. Todd Morgan didn't want to act right. Johnny Bump City Bonfils, right? He held the WBA Super Lightweight title in 1984, and he challenged once for the WBC and IBF Welterweight titles in 1987. From Tacoma, 29 wins, 2 losses, 20 knockouts. I can tell you this about Todd Morgan. He had 138 wins, 45 losses, 33 draws, 2 no contests, 29 knockouts. That was Todd Morgan. Of course, Johnny, 21-2, 31 fights, only lost 2 of them, 20 knockouts. Let's see, how did I miss that? That should be 80 something. 20 knockouts out of 29 wins. 68? Wow. That don't sound right. Yeah, 68.9. Wow. I thought it would be a little higher than that. But Johnny Bonfils. Carl Maxey. Just got 2 more. Carl Maxey, boxers from Washington. Carl Maxey. Oh yeah, Al Booger. The reason you couldn't comment on the shorts, I accidentally blocked commenting on the shorts. I don't know how. It wasn't just you, it was everybody. But I took it off. I had the comments on the shorts blocked. I don't know how I did that. So now if I make a short, you can comment on them. Yeah. I don't know. You know how I'm always hitting buttons and stuff. I had the comments blocked. Wow. Yeah. Carl Maxey from Tacoma, Washington. Now, Carl, he was an American trial lawyer and civil rights leader and former collegiate athlete. He first rose to prominence as a standout boxer, nicknamed King Carl, for Gonzaga University. He went undefeated with a 32-0 record in his college career, and making Gonzaga co-champions of the 1950 NCAA boxing tournament, right? Karl Maxey, and an American trial lawyer, civil rights leader. Yeah, that's Karl on the right there. And Karl had a career of 6 wins, 1 loss, 1 knockout. And finally, Greg Hawkins. Now y'all heard of Greg. Yeah, Greg is from Auburn, Washington. That's Greg on the left there, throwing the left hand. Final one, Greg Hawkins. We're going to talk about Mike Tyson now. A couple of Mike Tyson fights. You know, if he would have trained for Buster Douglas, would he have beat him? I don't think so. I really don't. I think that Buster Douglas would beat any version of Mike Tyson. That's just me, though, you know. But Greg Hawkins. The last one, whatever is going to give me all this trouble. From Auburn, Washington. He was nicknamed Mutt, M-U-T-T. He was a 2-weight class world champion from 1982 to 1999. He held the IBF lightweight title twice between 1986 and 1989, and the WBO junior welterweight title in 1991. He was known for his tenacity and uncompromising style. Hawkins defeated notable boxers like Hector Camacho, Ray Mancini, and Vinny Pazienza. Ooh, those are some 3 big names there. Wow. Hector Camacho, Ray Mancini, and Vinny Paz. He got some at least 3 big names on his resume. And Greg retired from boxing in 1999 and trained upcoming fighters in Washington, in his home state. Greg Hawkins. And Greg finished his career with 40 wins, 10 losses, 1 draw, 2 no contests, and 19 knockouts. Greg Hawkins. Wow. Okay. So now, let's talk about some of these, the baddest man on the planet fights. Iron Mike. He wasn't really the baddest man on the planet. I don't think that Buster Douglas 1990, no version of Mike Tyson beats him. But Buster didn't want it. That Buster Douglas would be a household name now. You know, nowadays, if that Buster Douglas he could have beat Tyson, Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, Razor Ruddock, Lennox Lewis, any of them. You know, if he had stayed in shape in that form, nowadays, when you talk about 1990s boxing, Buster Douglas would be one of the first names to come up. Well, he still is because it went over Mike Tyson, but he would be for different reasons. As being one of the best from back then. Not just for beating Mike Tyson, but Buster didn't want it. You know, he lost his first title defense to Holyfield, remember? Yeah. So, okay. Am I finished? No. I had a couple more. We had Chauncey Welliver, had a few on the back, but yeah. That's Chauncey on the right. Damn, somebody got pink hair. Al Harstack, he was a famous boxer from up there. There's Al. Chauncey was from Spokane, Washington. Al Harstack was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. His family moved to Kirkland, Washington when he was 2 years old. And Chauncey had 57 wins, 13 losses, 5 draws, 23 knockouts. Al Harstack, 64 wins, 9 losses, 11 draws, 41 knockouts. Then we had Dedrick Crocklin. Let's finishing up these. There's Dedrick Crocklin. Dedrick's from Tacoma, Washington. 47 wins, 11 losses, 4 knockouts. And finally, for real this time, Joe Hick. Joe Hip from Yakima, Washington. Born in Browning, Montana, but family moved at an early age to Yakima, Washington. 143, lost 7, 6 knockouts. Joe Hip. Okay. Now we get to Mike Tyson. I was looking, but that wasn't next. I had a few more left. But first, it's going to be about Buster Douglas and Mike. Had Tyson been better prepared, would the fight with Buster Douglas have gone differently? I doubt it. But let's talk about it and see. What some of the experts say about it. Okay, bear with me for one moment, please. Yeah, had he been more prepared, been better prepared, would he beat Buster Douglas? I don't know about that night. But let's see. Let's go over it. We're going to get some link time and see what we got coming up this weekend. Have a discussion on that. Crush, the legend, in the building. What's up, Crush? We had a little short thing on Washington State for the Boxing in the State series. Only got like 3 states left, including Washington, D.C. They got a boxing history and some good boxers out of there. We're going to talk about the Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas situation right now. If Mike had been better prepared, would it have gone differently? Let's see. Now, the fight between Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas, February 11th, 1990. That's often regarded as one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. Now, several factors contributed to Tyson's loss that night, and better preparation could have potentially changed the outcome. Now, number one, training camp. Now, Tyson's training camp leading into the Douglas fight was reportedly less intense than in his previous fights, right? He was known for his rigorous training regimen, but by the time of the Buster Douglas fight, he had become complacent and did not train as hard. Now, a more focused and disciplined training camp might have improved his performance that night. Possible. Number 2, mental state. Tyson's mental state was also a significant factor. He was dealing with personal issues and the pressures of fame, which may have affected his focus and motivation. Now, a stronger mental approach could have helped him maintain his intensity and aggression during the fight. Number 3, strategy and tactics. Yeah, his training team was terrible. I don't even know where he got those guys from. Training and tactics. Strategy and tactics. Tyson was known for his aggressive style and ability to overwhelm opponents quickly. However, Douglas employed a smart game plan, using his reach and jab very effectively to keep Tyson at bay. Now, if Tyson had come in with a better strategy to counter Douglas's tactics, he might have been more successful. But I doubt that, because that jab kept him at bay, and when he tried to come in, that right hand was waiting for him. So Buster had the perfect game plan for him, and he executed it perfectly. So I don't think that would have made a difference. I don't think they could have had any kind of tactic that Mike Tyson could have had to get around that game plan Buster had. And Mike, like I said the other day, Michael Spinks had a similar game plan when he fought Tyson before Buster Douglas, but because he had the great Eddie Futch And Mike Tyson had the jab and the right hand to execute the game plan that Buster Douglas did. But Mike got so scared when he saw Tyson get in the ring that he forgot all about the game plan and didn't even use it. He went out there and went toe-to-toe with Mike. You know, he got so scared when he saw Mike across the ring from him, he forgot the game plan and got knocked out in 91 seconds. Okay, but this one, number 4 for Mike, physical condition. Tyson was not in peak physical condition for that fight, and his stamina waned as the rounds progressed. That was part of the game plan. Take him into deep waters and drown him, and that's what happened. That was part of the game plan. Now, better physical preparation could have enhanced his endurance and power throughout the fight. But remember, around that time, Mike wasn't going deep in fights. And Buster's team knew that. So that was part of the plan. Take him into those deep waters and drown him. Because Mike was getting him up out of there, you know, under 5 rounds back then. So in summary, if Tyson had been better prepared, both physically and mentally, they had a more effective strategy, it's plausible that the fight could have ended differently. However, Douglas's performance that night was also exceptional, showcasing his skill and determination. And I don't think it was anything Mike Tyson could have done that would have had a different outcome with that Buster Douglas, okay? Now, what were the key moments from the fight that contributed to Tyson's loss? What were the key moments that contributed to Tyson's loss in this matchup? What were the key moments? Glad y'all asked. I'm gonna tell you. Okay. Now, the fight between Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas featured several key moments that contributed to Tyson's loss. Number 1, the early rounds. Now, Tyson started aggressively, but Buster managed to survive the initial onslaught. That was one thing that was key. Most people did not survive that initial onslaught. And then Mike wasn't used to that. And when Buster got past that initial onslaught, Mike was lost. Buster survived the initial onslaught. His ability to withstand Mike's power set the tone for the fight. Yes, that was huge when he got to those first few rounds. That's when I stood up and said, oh, after like 2 or 3 rounds, I stood up and said, oh my goodness, this guy might do something with Mike. Because I thought 1 or 2 rounds it was going to be over. But yeah, when Buster survived that initial onslaught, that did something to Mike mentally, okay? Mentally. And that's big in boxing. Because Mike wasn't used to that, somebody taking his punches and holding him at bay and hurting him, firing right back at him. And that's what Buster was doing. And that did something to Mike mentally, right? But number 2, jab and reach. Buster effectively used his jab to keep Mike at bay. This was crucial in disrupting Mike's rhythm and preventing him from closing the distance. And when he did close the distance, Buster had that right hand waiting for him. Number 3, knockdown in the 8th round. Now, one of the pivotal moments was when Tyson knocked Buster down in the 8th round. But, now Mike really wasn't used to this. But Buster impressively got up and continued fighting, demonstrating his resilience. Once Buster got up and kept fighting, it was it. That was it. Mike lost, and the fight was over right then. When Buster got up in that 8th round and kept fighting, the fight was over for Mike. Mike lost. Mike had lost because he was not used to that. Okay? That was the pivotal moment of the fight. When he knocked Buster down in the 8th round and Buster got up, that was the end of it. It was only a matter of time. Then Buster had him. Number 4, Buster's counterattacks. Now, following the knockdown, Buster regained composure and started landing powerful combinations, including a right uppercut that significantly hurt Tyson because Mike's mind was gone then. Once Buster got up, Mike wasn't even in the fight no more. He's like, holy shit. This dude actually got up. so Mike was done. And number 5, the final knockout in the 10th round. Now, Buster finished the fight with a combination that knocked Mike out. It wasn't a TKO, it was a KO, down for the 10 count. Now, this moment solidified Buster's victory and marked a dramatic turning point in boxing history. Yeah, that invincibility that Mike had was gone. It was gone once that happened. These moments highlight both Buster's skill and Mike's struggles, leading to one of the most significant upsets in the sport. Yeah. Okay. And finally, oh my goodness, what happened? What just happened? Wait a minute. I'm going to be right back with you. This is the final part on this one. No, we just talked about the key moments. I want to talk about now. What lessons did Mike learn from this defeat in later fights, if any? What lessons did Mike learn from this defeat? What's up, Terrell Cameron? How are you today? We're talking about some Mike Tyson fights. This is brought to you by Al Booker, too, because he gave me the idea, talking about some old fights and stuff. Okay? So, yeah. Appreciate you, Al Booker. But, yeah. Salute Terrell Cameron. But what lessons did Mike learn from his loss? Okay? Let's see, if any. If any. Did he learn from the Buster beating? Yeah, the Buster beating. What lessons did Mike learn from the Buster beating? Okay? If any. Now, Mike Tyson's defeat to Buster Douglas in 1990 taught him several valuable lessons that influenced his approach in later fights. Number one, importance of preparation. Tyson realized the critical nature of rigorous training and preparation. He recognized that complacency could lead to unexpected outcomes. Two, mental focus. The loss highlighted the need for a strong mental state. Tyson understood that emotional and psychological readiness is just as important as physical training. And number three, adapting strategies. Mike learned to be more adaptable in the ring. He began to incorporate different tactics and strategies to counter opponents' strengths more effectively. Number four, respecting opponents. Okay, respecting opponents. The fight taught Mike to never underestimate an opponent, regardless of their record. He learned that every fighter can pose a serious threat. Every fighter. Number five, stamina and conditioning. Mike focused on improving his endurance and conditioning to maintain his power and effectiveness throughout the fight, especially in later rounds. Number six, that's a lot of fighters came into Mike's fights with the strategy to take him into the late rounds, but in the 80s, a lot of them just couldn't get there. You know, they just couldn't get past one or two. But when Buster got up in the 8th round, it was over. You know, that was it. Mike was done right then. Number six, support team. Yeah, that's important for Mike's support team. He recognized them, but he had already fired his support team, Kevin Rooney, all of Custer's people. Custer had died, and then Don King got rid of the entire team Custer put in place for him. So he was fighting a losing battle as far as the support team. Robin Givens, Don King. That ain't much support there. But support team. Mike recognized the importance of having a strong support team, including trainers and mentors who could help him prepare mentally and physically. And these lessons contributed to his resilience and performance in subsequent fights, shaping his career after the Douglas loss. And when he came out of prison, he did win the title again. He did get another title. Okay. So I guess he learned something from the Buster beating. Okay. Let's talk about Lennox Lewis' situation with Mike. Mike Mazik. What's up, Mike Mazik? How are you today? We finished with Washington State, boxing in the state series. We only got 3 left. Washington, D.C., not a state, but it's still got a boxing history. Some great boxers came out of there, like Lamont Roach, the Russells. But the Russells actually from Capitol Heights, Maryland. But that's close enough. They're going to be included as boxers from Washington. And Troy Oxley from Alexandria, Virginia. I think he was born in Washington, so we might put him on there too. Okay? But that's next week, Washington, D.C. Tomorrow is the life and career of Vernon Forrest. But right now, let's see. That's Buster Douglas. Now, Lennox Lewis. If Mike Tyson had trained properly for Lennox Lewis, would he have won the fight? No, I don't think so. But let's see. Would he have won the fight against Lennox if he had trained properly? He should have learned that from the Buster fight. But Mike was about done by the Lennox fight anyway. No, I don't think it would have made a difference what he did, well, trained or whatever. You know, he wasn't going to beat Lennox. But let's see about it. Yeah, we're going to do some link and see what going on this weekend. I know somebody's fighting. It's Thursday. We'll be there soon. To the weekend. Okay. Let's get this. I got this one guy. I be stealing all his stuff. This guy might sue me if he ever watch Cat Sports. Oh man, how you gonna say his name? Okay. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, this is Mike and Lennox Lewis. If what was the question y'all just asked me? If Mike Tyson had trained properly for Lennox Lewis, would he have won the fight? Glad y'all asked. Okay. Me and this other guy gonna tell y'all who I stole this from. Now, no, I don't think so. No, he wouldn't have won. Lennox was all wrong for Mike Tyson. And at that point in their careers, there was nothing Mike could have done unless he used a time machine or something and brought Sonny Liston in the ring with him. Could he have dealt with Lennox? Now, if Mike got in first-rate shape instead of coming in fat and out of shape, it would have just took a longer time for Lennox to get him out of there. Probably would have took a worse beating. Yeah, Mike's skills were simply long gone by that point. Okay, in his career, like I was just saying. Now, the most fundamental rule of boxing is what? Styles make fights, right? That's the most fundamental rule of boxing. Styles make fights. Lennox Lewis's style with his size, fundamentals, sound jab, and power punching would have always been problematic for Mike Tyson. But it would have been a much closer, if not different fight had they met earlier in their careers, right? A fact Lewis cheerfully acknowledged. But by the time they did meet, all the things that made Mike great, peekaboo style, constant movement, volume punching, all that was gone by then, by the time he fought Lennox. Now, if Mike had come in better shape, he still would have been a shadow of his former self. Just a more fit shadow, right? Just a more in shape shadow. But all the other stuff, skills, they were gone. He just would have been a more in shape shadow, would have took Lennox longer to get him out of there, and probably would have took a worse beating, you know? Because you know how they always say, getting knocked out fast is better than getting beat up for 12 rounds. So if Mike had been in better shape, he would have got beat up. He might have went the distance and got beat up for the entire 12 rounds. Now, the second fundamental rule of boxing, a good big man beats a good little man, okay? A good big man beats a good little man, right? Mike Tyson is 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. Lennox Lewis is 6'5" with an 84-inch reach. Okay, what's that, like 7 inches and 7 inches in height and 13 inches in reach. And somebody with the skill and talent of Lennox Lewis, with those type of advantages, Mike could never beat Lennox. Never. He always had a puncher's chance, but skill for skill, no way. Let's say this again. Mike 5'10", Lennox 6'5". Mike got a 71-inch reach. Lennox got an 84-inch reach. That's 13 inches, man. Lennox could stay way back here and touch Mike, and Mike couldn't come nowhere near Lennox, right? So no. If skill is even close to equal, the big man wins, right? Even if they were close in skill, Lennox wins. And this part is crucial, right? Having just size is nothing special. Add skill to size, and you have a different story then. Lennox has skills equal up or superior to Mike's. And he was much, 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 much bigger. And the third fundamental rule of boxing, Father Time is no boxer's friend. Father Time is not nobody's friend, especially in boxing. Father Time is not your friend, especially if you're a boxer. Gene Tunney, former undisputed heavyweight champion, said, "You never truly master boxing. You learn its intricacies your entire life. It is as complicated as chess in its moves and harder to learn. And by the time your mind truly learns the skills you must have, your body has begun to fail you. Boxing is the most unforgiving of sports." Couldn't have said it better. That was from the great Gene Tunney. After Muhammad Ali's last fight, he said, "Father Time caught up with me." And Larry Holmes said it best. "You are on the clock from the hour you put on your first pair of boxing gloves. You only have so many fights in you, so many punches, so much training in your body before Father Time catches up with you." Father Time catches every single fighter, every single person, right? But definitely every single boxer who ever lived. Only a tiny few have the courage and ability to walk away before it is too late. For Mike Tyson, when he got in the ring with Lennox Lewis, Father Time had already caught up with Mike. Somebody need to tell Manny Pacquiao that. Crush was talking about that this morning. What in the world is Manny Pacquiao? Father Time did already shut the door on Manny Pacquiao. I don't know what he's doing, get back in the ring. And how you get a title shot? How you retire all these years? All these other people been fighting, trying to move up through the rankings, and Manny Pacquiao just jumped back in and get a title shot. Boxing ain't shit, man. It ain't. The Hall of Fame ain't shit. Boxing, man, it's just ridiculous, man. It's just they're making a mockery out of the sport, man. Making a mockery out of it. Manny Pacquiao retired. Look, when did he fight Ugas? Was it 2023? I believe it was. He fought the same year Earl and Bud fought, didn't he? That was his last fight. But now, 2025, he comes back in the sport with a title shot. Meanwhile, all these guys deserving of title shots that's actually fighting can't get a shot. I blame him and Berrios. Berrios had no business. Berrios just trying to get money, but ain't nobody buying that Berrios to Manny Pacquiao. Why? I don't want to see it. I wouldn't watch it if it was free. But anyway, yeah. Father Time. I just saw that Father Time and then thought about Crush show this morning. And Father Time been past Manny Pacquiao. He getting back in the ring. It's crazy. But anyway, the fourth fundamental rule of boxing: when you drug, drink, and whore your skills away, they are gone forever. They don't come back. When you're out there drugging and drinking, partying, and them skills slip, and then you're going up in age, in your 30s, They ain't coming back. I don't care what you do. Manny Pacquiao. Well, Manny ain't been drugging and drinking on things, but Manny is 48, ain't he? Them skills is gone, man. Father Time done put them in the dumpster. And Manny, you can't go in there and get them out. They gone. Okay? Now, Eddie Fudd said about Riddick Bowe. At one point, I thought he could be the best heavyweight I ever trained. I am disappointed. I guess the other voices began to reach his ears. It was downhill, slowly at first, but then momentum picked up. Now with Mike Tyson, it happened after he fired his team in 1988. That was the Customato team. And then he put in the Don King team. Fired the Customato team in 1988, right? And partied for the next 15 years. And the skills he lost, the skills Riddick Bowe lost in a similar, though far shorter party, they gone. You don't get them skills back. They gone forever. Plus you're getting up there in age. Yeah. They're gone. Forever. And one day. Yeah, but they gone. Okay, yeah, they gone though, man. The skills are gone. Now, like Jack Dempsey said, after being off for 3 years, living the life of Raleigh in Hollywood. Yeah, that's why he lost to Gene Tunney. But Jack, I can relate because Jack took those years off because he was pissed off. He wanted to fight Harry Wills, the Black Panther, the #1 contender. But the government blocked it. They told Tex Picard and the other leading promoters, do not make a mixed race title fight. And Jack Dempsey got pissed off and said, if I can't fight Harry Wills, I ain't fighting nobody. So he didn't fight for 3 years and was out there in Hollywood partying with them starlets. Not starlets, you know. And then he came back to fight Gene Tunney and got beat. But like Jack Dempsey said, right? Now, where is it? I'm running my mouth and lost where I was at. Yeah, he was out in Hollywood living the life of Raleigh. Jack Dempsey said, I thought I could get it back, but I was wrong. Mike could have gotten in tip-top shape, but he was never, ever going to regain the form that made him the baddest man on the planet. No, that was gone. Yeah. Lennox was badder than him at that point. Mike was a sad shadow of his young Rooney-trained self, Kevin Rooney, when he fought Lennox Lewis. He could have had Kevin Rooney for Lennox Lewis. He still wasn't beating Lennox. And he had Don King sorry-ass trainers. Excuse my French. Mike Tyson was Ring Fighter of the Year twice, in 1986 and 1988, right? He is somewhere between the 4th and 14th top heavyweight of all time, depending on which expert is evaluating. I would say about number 11. Mike's career is essentially 2 phases. With Kevin Rooney, during which he trained fanatically and prepared religiously, and without Kevin Rooney, during which he partied like it was 1999, right? Yeah. Define Arnie. Says, he's speaking. Okay, yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat. Who we got in here anyway? We got Crush the Legend, Mike Mazik, Terrell Cameron, Crush the Legend. Oh, I said Crush. Crush the Legend. Worth saying twice. Al Booger, Bruce Gass, Define Arnie, Mike Rim, and Miss Cass. And Mike Mazik. Okay? Yeah, Mike was partying like it was 1999. And all those skills he lost, they wasn't coming back. They just wasn't. Okay? But let's continue. Now, Mike Tyson was in his Rooney days, a unique fighter in his Rooney days, a unique fighter in his style. Short for a heavyweight with a very short reach, right? His reach was actually shorter than Joe Frazier's, right? Now, Mike is not a swarmer, but a mid-range volume puncher, blessed with incredible speed and strength. He used his short stabbing jab to set up his hooks. He had a knockout percentage of 76%, with more of his knockouts coming. No, he had 80-something%. with more of his knockouts coming later. I think it was 88%. More of his knockouts coming later in fights from accumulated beatings. You know, the ones he got later was from accumulated beatings. Now, Mike was never really Mike again after he fought Kevin Rudy and the Customado team, right? Mike went from training all day and watching film all night to partying 24/7, 365. Don King and Robin Givens told him he could have it all, do what he wanted. Just bring us the money, right? He could short what he wanted and still be a great fighter. And they were wrong. All Don King and Robin Givens cared about was the money Mike Tyson could bring them. They didn't care whether he was winning fights and all that kind of stuff. The team Cuss had Mike living in his home. He took this kid off the street and moved him into his home, man. Don King wouldn't have did that. But when Mike got out of prison, Don King was the one that met him. He ready to go put Mike in some more fights. Probably wanted him to fight that night he got him out. That's Don King. Now, Mike was even less of a shadow of the Rooney terror when he returned from prison. He was not even in good fighting form of any kind at all. And certainly, absolutely nothing resembling what he had been in his prime. But he had gotten in at least enough shape to fight by 1997 when he faced Holyfield and promptly lost twice. Mike then took another year and a half off, and that left only 3 years before he faced Lennox. Now, by the time he faced Lennox, Mike was a fat, one-punch fighter. Even if Mike had gotten in tip-top shape, he couldn't turn back the hands of time 14 years and regain the form and skills he had lost almost a decade and a half ago. Yeah, Mike was done after the Buster beating, really, if you want to really be honest. After the Buster beating, and Mike admitted that himself recently. After the Buster beating, that was it. He was never Mike Tyson again. That invincibility was gone, you know? People like, oh shit, Mike Tyson got knocked out. And that was it. A foretelling of what would happen in 2002 was Mike's paying off Lewis to not fight in 1996. Yeah. He gave Lewis, what they call it, step-aside money, 1996. Paid him not to fight him, okay? Now, Tyson, by edict of the WBC, after he won the WBC title from Frank Bruno in March of 1996, had to make his first defense against the WBC's number one contender, Lennox Lewis. Tyson paid Lewis $4 million to step aside so he could fight Bruce Seldon in what was originally billed as a WBA and WBC unification fight. But after paying Lennox so he could fight Seldon, Tyson vacated the WBC title rather than face Lewis. Okay? Yeah. After he fought Seldon, after paying off Lewis, then he vacated the WBC so he still wouldn't have to fight Lennox. Now, Emanuel Stewart knew Tyson was done long before he fought Lewis. I did too. Stewart said he didn't even believe Tyson deserved to be fighting for the heavyweight title anymore, saying, everyone is holding on to that image of Mike Tyson from 10 to 12 years ago. That Mike Tyson is gone. That was the great Emanuel Stewart, okay? He said that Mike Tyson is gone, and he was. Terrell Cameron. Oh, Terrell been in there. But salute Terrell Cameron again. But Emanuel Stewart said that Mike Tyson been gone. That's what I said. After he fought Lennox Lewis in 2002. Emanuel Stewart saying 12 years ago. What happened 12 years before 2002? The Buster beating. Remember, 1990. That's what I said. Great minds think alike, me and Emanuel Stewart, right? But yeah, seriously, that after the Buster beating, Mike was done, right? Now, the Olympic gold medal winning Lennox Lewis is in the Hall of Fame, and as Emanuel Stewart said, it's the most complete big man to ever compete in boxing. I wouldn't say all that now. Now, me and Emanuel don't think exactly alike. I wouldn't say all that. Now, Lewis was 6'5", a rock solid 250 with an 84-inch reach, 2 inches longer than Anthony Joshua's, 3 inches longer than Larry Holmes, 6 inches longer than Muhammad Ali's or George Foreman, and an incredible 11 inches longer than Smoking Joe Frazier's. Lennox the Lion was a truly outstanding boxer with athletic ability, excellent fundamentals, great footwork, an educated, heavy, vicious jab, and power in both hands. But he ducked Klitschko after Vladimir got cut and Lennox won the fight on cuts. Lennox retired. Vladimir was a hit on all 3 cards. So if he was so bad, why didn't he fight Vladimir again if he was the most complete big man around? Because he knew he couldn't beat Vladimir. He retired rather than fight him again. Okay, well, let's get back to this. Lewis was an ultra-cautious boxer puncher who used his huge size and 84-inch reach to keep opponents at bay with a pole-axe left jab and a potent, deadly counter right. However, he was highly adaptable. Here we go right now. When Vitaly Klitschko was beating him to the punch in his last fight before retirement, he moved inside and beat the hell out of Klitschko for vicious inside fighting style. But he was still losing all 3 cards when the fight was stopped. Lewis faced, among others, Hall of Famers Evander Holyfield, Vitaly Klitschko, Mike Tyson, and then highly respected contenders like David Tua and Henry Akawande, and former champions Hercules Weaver. Damn, Hercules Weaver. Who's he talking about? Hercules Weaver. Mike Weaver? Hercules Weaver. What a nickname. Anyway, he faced Hercules Weaver. That's almost better than Gunboat Smith. Hercules Weaver, Oliver McCall, Shannon Briggs, Frank Bruno, Tony Tucker, Razor Ruddock, among others. Now, Lewis was undefeated, 3-0-1, 2 knockouts against fellow Hall of Fame members. He won against Evander Holyfield, Tyson, and Vitaly Klitschko. But Vitaly got an asterisk by it because Vitaly got cut and couldn't continue. So Lennox won a TKO or RTKO, whatever they call it, due to cuts, right? Now he faced, that's what Suarez should have won against the Mexican guy a couple weeks ago. What's his name? But they said it was an accidental headbutt, and when Suarez busted his face open with his fist, you saw it. So yeah, that's what Holyfield actually won. I mean, Lewis won one of those against Klitschko. They called it right in that one. If they would have said an accidental headbutt and went to the cards, Klitschko would have won. Okay. Now he also faced a wide variety of styles in his career, Lennox, and he defeated every opponent he ever faced. Even those 2 who caught him with a freak shot and stopped him, he knocked both out in rematches. Lennox is, in the words of ESPN, the king, the last great heavyweight. And the Lion is the last undisputed heavyweight champ. Not anymore. We got Usyk now. He was the last before Usyk, right? Lewis versus Tyson, as it happened, it was a fat, out-of-shape Tyson, right? First of all, Mike was best at a fighting weight of around 215. He came into the fight with Lewis at 234, the biggest he's ever been in his career, right? And his speed and movement were gone, plus he was in his 30s. Once a fabulously conditioned, volume-punching machine, Mike was a relatively slow, fat, one-shot puncher, and Lennox beat him up and stopped him, right? Yeah. He couldn't have had no chance against Lennox, man. Now, boxing is the most unforgiving sport there is. You cannot abandon skills for almost 15 years and then get back in the ring and think you're going to get them back. Not going to happen. And when Lennox destroyed Mike in 2002, they were a long way from the 2 kids who slugged it out for a week in 1984, 18 years before then. Yeah, they fought in the amateurs. In 1984, Lennox Lewis went to the Catskills to work for a week with Cus D'Amato and sparred against the young Mike Tyson. Lewis and Tyson went at each other in a makeshift gym for a week. Now, Tyson gave Lewis a fat lip and Lewis gave Tyson a bloody nose. Cus D'Amato, Tyson's mentor, watched the two fighting and told them, "Someday you will meet in a big fight." But it happened too late. They should have met in 1996. That was the big fight. But remember, Mike paid Lennox step-aside money, and then after he beat Seldom, he vacated the belt to duck Lennox. Ducked him twice. Step-aside money and vacated the belt. A lot of times, fighters would duck once step-aside money or duck vacating the belt. Mike did both of them to avoid Lennox. Step-aside money and vacated the belt. He really didn't want to fight that man, right? He really didn't want to fight that man. He paid the step-aside money, and then the next time he vacated the belt. He really didn't want to fight that man. Right? I mean, you pay a man step-aside money, and then later on vacate the belt. You ain't trying to fight that guy. Pay the man $4 million to do nothing, and then give your belt up? You scared? Say you're scared, man. Let's get some link time in. But we was on. Let's finish this first, right? Now, before their fight in 2002, Lewis recalled their sparring back in '84, saying, "This cat rushed across the room and I gave him a Muhammad Ali impression. I was dancing around boxing him. Lennox always would have been favored because his talent and style is all wrong for Mike. And that size. All wrong for Mike. And that size, man, like 7 inches in height and 13 inches in reach. And the only difference that would have happened had Mike been more fit is he would have lasted longer and taken an even worse beating, right? Emanuel Stewart, one of history's great trainers, believed that Lewis was always too big, too strong, and too wrong for Tyson. And Lennox said it best. At 19 and for 3 years, Mike was king. But I aged like a fine wine and came along later and became the man. Yeah. I wouldn't say all that, but you became better than Mike Tyson, in 2002. And Lennox was all wrong for Mike, though, that size and all of that. Yeah. I don't think Mike could have ever did anything with Lennox. Let's get like 20 minutes of link time in here. Y'all, hope y'all enjoyed this show today. Tomorrow for the profile is Vernon Forrest. Yeah, remember Vernon died tragically. He got robbed at that gas station. He made the mistake of chasing after the people. Just let him go, Vernon. You can get money and jewelry and stuff back, but you can't get your life back. And when he chased them, he lost his life because there was some other people waiting for the guy that robbed him when Vernon chased him, they killed him. He should have just, okay, I got robbed, got back. He had his nephew or somebody in the car waiting for him. He should have, and he chased him, left his little nephew at the gas station by himself and never came back. He got shot. Just let him have it, man. Just let him have it. I don't know. When I was young, I would have chased their asses too. So, So, yeah, man. Like some people just, they let nobody take nothing from them, man. They just got that mentality. But, yeah, it was a bad decision, though, because he got shot. We're going to talk about it tomorrow, though. Vernon Forrest. Okay. Yeah. But let's get like 20 minutes of link time now. Okay. This is Thursday. Boxing in the States. We got 3 more weeks to go. We done did every state in the United States over the past year. Good series. Okay. Let me see. What was I doing? Oh, I was putting the link in, right? Where my glasses at, man? I need my other 2 eyes for this. Okay. There we go. Man. Oh, turn the light up. There we go. That light glare. Man, they done changed the screen back to how it used to be. That's why they keep playing games with me. Remember I said they changed this, they changed it back. That's crazy. Okay. Let me hurry up. Link is, everybody's welcome to hit the link. Everybody is welcome and encouraged to hit it. Come up and cook. Tell me how much you liked the show or how much you hated it. So Cass, get off the air, man. That garbage you bringing. I ain't gonna cry till after 4 o'clock when I get off. Okay? We right back at another weekend. I cannot believe it, man. These weeks are just going by too fast. Wow. But we're going to find out who's fighting this weekend, because I don't know. But somebody who's going to hit this link will know. And let's get ready to come now. I've seen Thomas Hill today. I saw Thomas Hill this morning in Quest Show. I haven't seen him since. Nowhere else. Thomas Hill been on every podcast that a person could possibly be on. Somebody said they got a podcast up on the space shuttle up in space. Thomas Hill been on that, on the panel. Mm-hmm. Been on podcasts you never heard of. Him in Old School. Every podcast known to mankind, Thomas Hill and Old School been on him. But he not on this one today. Okay, here's the link. Okay. All right, how's everybody? I had something on Holyfield. We're running out of time, so we'll save that for another time. We're going to talk about the Tyson and Holyfield situation too. Come on, get off of my screen, man. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on now. There we go. There we go. I was panicking. Just Do Boxing at 4. I'm gonna go over there and eavesdrop, see what Just Do Boxing got for us today. The Voice. Let's see here. Okay, there's Define Arnie 1. Define Arnie. Now all I gotta do is find the cursor. I gotta define the cursor. Where is it? I'm serious. Oh, there it is. Wow. All right, what's up, Define Arnie?
How you doing, Cass?
I'm doing okay today. How about yourself, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good. What's on your mind today, my brother?
Honestly, not too many fighters out of Washington, it seems, right?
No, not too many. Not too many big names anyway, you know? Sugar Ray Seals, one of the bigger ones. Freddie Steele from back in the day, but not too many, man. No.
Saw Greg Haugen there.
Yeah.
He passed like a month ago or something.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I thought he was still living just a month ago, huh? Damn.
Yeah, I saw an interview of him, not I don't know, I want to say like a month before he passed or something
He
like
wasn't
that.
all that old though, right? Greg Hawkins? No.
I'm not sure actually. I mean, he must be like around the Chavez age, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Like,
something like that.
in the 60s.
60s, something like that, yeah. Wow. Rest in peace, Greg Hawkins.
Yeah,
Man.
that was a tough one. I mean, obviously, not the biggest fan of his because I rooted for Camacho, obviously.
Yeah. He had a couple big names on his resume too. Hawkins did, yeah. You know.
He definitely does. Definitely
Mhm.
does. I don't know. I don't have like a specific. I wanted to say something the other day and I forgot what it was, man. I'm not remembering right now, but
It still
I
haven't came back to you yet. Still haven't came back yet. It'll come back. I was wondering about what we had this weekend, though. I was trying to look that up. What would you get ready to say?
Yeah, we got Josh Taylor because last week I made a mistake. I remember we were chopping it up on Friday, and
Yeah.
and I said Taylor, and no, it was Fisher and Allen.
It's this week then, huh?
Yeah, the day after tomorrow is
Okay.
Josh Taylor versus
Yeah.
Suman.
Where's he
What do
fighting
you
at
think?
now? Is he still at 140?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it's about time he moved to welterweight, but I'm
He
not
was
sure.
huge, man. Remember? For
Yeah,
140. He should have been going like a couple years ago.
exactly.
But I think he was hesitating because Earl and Bud was there then. You know, he didn't want to go up and fight none of those guys.
You know, what do you think about Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz?
Man. Shiraz.
You got Shiraz?
Yeah.
He's way bigger than Berlanga, though. That dude is tall, man. Like, he's like 5 or 4 or something like that. Like,
he's bigger than Berlanga. Who would you pick?
Berlanga's pretty big.
Yeah, he is. Who would you pick for that one?
Honestly, I think Berlanga, bro. I think Berlanga, because here's the thing: the last performance of Shiraz was shaky, to say the least.
Yeah, I think he got a gift decision. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and not only that, if you watch that fight closely, in my opinion, once Bronco Adames clipped him, he never really that got to him. You can tell that he was very timid, very gun shy, for the rest of the fight. And Berlanga, not for nothing, Berlanga can crack, bro. Nothing else.
You think he'll stop him? Berlanga will stop him?
I think so. I think so.
He definitely got the pop. That's one thing about it. Berlanga, if he catch you.
I just don't think Hamza Shiraz is ready yet. I would give Hamza Shiraz another year, maybe, honestly, in my opinion. If I was his promoter, if I was Frank Warren or whatever.
When is that fight?
That is, I know that's a hell of a card because we got Shakur and Cepeda and Matias and Puello and another.
That's that card. Okay.
Yeah.
That's that card. Okay, that's in July. Yeah, that's a good card. Yeah.
That's a great card, actually. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Matias, I don't know, man. Matias has looked shaky against Southpaws in the past, bro. Like,
Matias.
It's pretty good, but I'm happy that he's getting a shot at the title. He does deserve that.
Oh, Matias. The one that was knocking everybody out. Yeah, I forgot all about.
Yeah.
He lost his title to Pyro, right?
Yeah, in Puerto Rico.
What title is he going against? Who is he fighting? What title is he going up against now?
Puello. The guy that beat Gary Antoine.
Yeah, he'll get it back.
I'm not sure, bro. Puello's pretty good, and he's a out. Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for him, obviously.
Yeah, it'll be a good fight now. But I think Matias will pull it off. Didn't he have another fight since he lost to Pyro? Matias, hadn't he fought since then? Yeah,
he fought Roberto Ramirez here in Puerto Rico and stopped him in the second round.
Right, yeah, I thought he had fought since then, yeah. I was surprised when Pyro beat him. I thought he was going to stop Pyro, but wow.
Yeah, that performance was real shaky, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from the Aussie, not to take anything away from the Aussie.
No,
he did it.
No, not at all. Yeah, it was just a shock, and nobody expected that because Matias was making short work of everybody, around that time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember his fight with Shoyahong Ergashev.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The man said his legs was. He was hitting, so he said his legs was hurting.
Yeah, something it didn't come out.
That was crazy, man. Damn.
And he let him go. Like he let him do his thing for the first couple of rounds. He was taking some unnecessary. That's one of my things with Matias.
Yeah.
You know, he starts really slow.
Yeah.
Like, but I think he's made adjustments because the last fight he stopped him in the second round. Now, obviously, that wasn't a high caliber opponent necessarily, you know. But oh no, he fought twice. He fought Roberto Ramirez, and then he fought Goiás Valenzuela.
Okay.
He fought twice losing to Paro. Yeah.
And Matias will let people beat on him for the first few rounds, you know. You just stand there.
Yeah,
that's the same thing with the guy before Ergashev. Remember? What was his name?
Exactly.
Yeah. Let the guy beat on him for 2 or 3 rounds and then got him out of there.
You mean Yukembayev? He fought a bunch of Eastern European guys.
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name.
Let's see what else we got. What do you think about Shakur Cepeda? You got Shakur by UD?
Yeah, decision, I think. Yeah. If Shakur wins,
I just want to see. Gotcha. Honestly, bro, I want to see Shakur make adjustments and get out of a tough situation. And I'm not so sure that Cepeda can. I don't know, man. Cepeda, I kind of like him, but I don't think he's got the goods for Shakur, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I want to see Shakur really take a really good punch and see how he deals with that. That ain't never happened before. You know, never.
Exactly.
I thought Valdez was going to be able to do it. You know, put him in some kind of trouble. But, you know, he couldn't. He never did it. And I've never seen Shakur in that kind of situation before. You know?
Me neither. And we've seen everybody else, bro. We've seen Loma. We've seen Tank. We've seen, you know.
All of them. Ryan. All of them.
Yeah.
But Shakur, no.
Teofimo, Devin, every single one of them I've seen get out of tough situations many times, more than once.
That's what I wanted to see how Shakur reacts to that. Somebody cracking real good. You got to deal with that for a minute, you know. See how he reacts to it. But no,
because it's gonna happen, bro. It happened to Floyd. It happened to Purnell. It happened to James Stoney. I mean, you name it, bro. You name it.
Mm-hmm.
Ali, Robinson, whoever.
All of like Duran, the best of them. You know. Yeah.
So, it is gonna happen to you whether you like it or not, you know. So you might as well.
Boxing, man.
That's why I like Abdullah Mason, bro. Abdullah Mason, that performance where he had to get up off the canvas a couple of times, like people are saying he got exposed. I'm like, it's the other way around, bro. I mean, now he knows that he got what it takes, bro.
That's right.
Now he knows for sure he got what it takes.
Mike Rim said, when Shakur runs, you know. He got hit by a good shot. Yeah. Just like, you know, like the Monsters, last 2 fights he done got up and won the fight.
Exactly. That's a good example.
That wasn't exposed.
That's a very good example.
It shows a lot. That's not getting exposed, you know? That shows a lot. I mean, when you can get up like that, man, and come back.
Like, absolutely, like it shows what you.
Yeah.
Many times a fighter just cruise to everybody, and the second they get adversity, they budge, you know.
Yeah.
So
they fold. And Monster said in the post-fight interview, he said, "I made sure I didn't get hit by that shot again." That's talent right there, man. He made that adjustment, and he never got caught by that shot again. You know. Yeah, everybody can't make that.
I'll say that. Yes, but however, I've seen that twice now. I've seen that with Luis Neri and now with Cardenas. Yeah. So if he's gonna fight Junto Nakatani, bro, he needs to be careful.
Yeah, MJ is
because Junto.
Yeah, who is the final?
That's another danger.
That's MJ's the fight everybody want to see on Nakatani. You're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like Junto got a missile of a left hand, so I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta be real careful, man. I'm telling you.
And they right there, 118 and 122, just four pounds apart. You know?
Oh yeah,
It's
it's right
Nakatani
there,
with top
and that's a
rank.
Super Bowl fight, bro.
It's Nakatani with top rank.
I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest with
Okay.
you.
They always act like being with different promoters make the fights hard. That really frustrates me, you know, when they talk that stuff about different sides of the street.
Oh,
Just make the
absolutely.
fight. Just make the fight.
the fight,
You know,
bro.
professional boxers, nobody worrying about some side of the street. Just make it. Come on.
Yeah, bro. Everybody makes money, and we can all sing "Kumbaya" together after the fight, you know, and then we
Yeah.
can go back to being enemies.
Right. What's up, BVO? BVO Sports TV from the Sports Talk Network in the building. Salute. Yeah, Nakatani, that's the one I'm looking forward to.
That's the Super Bowl fight for Inoue. That's his Super Bowl fight.
Yeah.
What
you think about him and MJ though? This one coming up in August. He said
dangerous fight.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
That's
too.
a dangerous fight, bro. MJ is no chop liver, bro.
Not at all. Not at all.
But it's good that he's a southpaw, though, because it's interesting. Because obviously the end goal is Junto Nakatani. However, MJ is a pretty good southpaw, so that'll get you ready enough, in my opinion, to Junto Nakatani.
Yeah, that's a good tune-up for him.
I think it's an intelligent.
Yeah, I hope that's what it is. You know. And
yeah, me too.
But Junto got to come up because Monster ain't going back to no 118, you know. But it's 4 pounds, so it won't be no problem, you know.
By the way, Junto needs to clean up his division also. Like I'm sitting here and talking about a fight against Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani.
That'd be the money though.
Like Bam Rodriguez, not for nothing. Oh yeah, but Bam Rodriguez is at least getting a fight with one of the other champions, which is Cafu, you know, and then it will be Puma Martinez. So he's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, 118 got some killers too. 118 got some killers down there. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you got Bam right at 115. Bam Rodriguez right at 115. You know.
That could happen, bro. Bam Rodriguez and Junto Nakatani is another possibility, bro.
Yup.
Because Inoue is always talking about 126, 126, and I'm like, okay, but you know, Divino Espinosa will probably murk your ass, bro. It's too fucking big, bro.
He got work right down there where he's at, you know?
Yeah, just be a legend there, bro. Because honestly, I mean, I got him beating everybody. He already beat Fulton, obviously, but Divino Espinosa, to me, that's a horrible matchup, bro, for him.
Who?
Espinosa, Rafael Espinosa.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that
yeah. I think he might be a little too big, man, with that reach and everything.
Yeah. I mean, he's a lot bigger than all of the natural dudes. Imagine how much bigger he will be than you. That's coming up, you know.
He's 6'1", ain't he?
I think he's 6'1". Yeah, exactly.
And he like to mix it up too. He can mix it up too, you know.
Oh yeah, he can fight in every distance.
That would be a rough one for Monster. Was he talking about Espinosa?
I think so.
Wow.
His name has been mentioned. Yeah.
That might be his first loss right there.
I would go after Nick Ball personally.
Yeah, he would beat Nick Ball. I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And who's the other? Angelo Leo. Maybe Angelo Leo. You know, I'll go after somebody else, bro. Because Espinosa, bro, at least get your feet warmed up in the division before you go after Espinosa, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Don't go right up there and your first fight is Espinosa. Nah.
Yeah, that's a bad one. I might be wrong, but I wouldn't. I don't know, man. Something tells me that's a horrible matchup for him. Honestly.
Yeah, I think so. He want to challenge himself, though. You know, I guess.
No, I gotta give him his flowers for that. Yeah, he is calling out the toughest dude in the division. That's without a doubt. I gotta give him that one.
For sure.
But I don't know how smart that is. I don't know how smart.
Yeah. But look here, we gotta get ready to get out of here. But what else you got in closing? Anything for us?
I appreciate you, Cass, and God bless, and I'll see you next time. All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Appreciate you. You fine on
You
it.
too.
All right. Appreciate everybody that came through today. That was Define Arnie from Puerto Rico up on the panel with me. BBO scared to hit the link anymore. I don't know why. I ain't gonna cook you, BBO. But what's up, BBO? I'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight. BBO Sports TV from the Sports Talk Network coming up at 8 p.m. tonight. Okay, we got Crush the Legend in here. He's at 6 a.m. in the morning. We got Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Fire Channel. I know he does the trivia on Tuesdays, I believe. Bruce Gas. Who else we got as far as channels? I think that's it for us, the channels. We got Just Do Boxing coming up next in these YouTube streets. So I'm going to get out the way. But when Just Do come on, ain't nobody going to be in here no way, so I might as well go off, right? Well, there's somebody right there. Who's that? Thomas Hill. Damn. Where you been at, Thomas Hill? Thomas T. Hill. Hello.
So
What's
what you
happening? Oh, not too much. What's going on?
So late, man. I had my phone all the way off and didn't even know it. I thought I had it on.
Yeah, Define Arnie just jumped out. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. What was the show about, man?
Boxing in the States was Washington today, and then we talked about some Mike Tyson, him and Buster and Lennox Lewis. You know, would it have been any different if he would have trained harder or anything? I don't think so. I think Lennox was just the wrong matchup for Mike, you know. He was like 7 inches in height, like 13 inches in reach, you know. So just too much size. Sometimes size just is too much, you know.
Oh, definitely.
And then with the skills he had too, you know.
And that was Lennox Lewis versus who?
Mike Tyson in 2002.
Oh, 2002. I don't know, man. I think like I said, pre Robin Givens, Mike Tyson, different beasts, different animals.
Yeah.
Different focus. I think his focus was greater. And his
Kevin
attention
Rooney.
to like detail.
Mhm.
I think after that, you know, you mentioned also his coaching, but also it's just like his mindset wasn't right. And on top of that, he was fighting a lot of times on that stuff. Like they was giving him stuff to convince him that he was a bad dude and he needed to be medicated. So
Yeah.
you're not always giving your best on that. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize about Mike Tyson, man. People like to take their personal feelings of a folk and just like project it on them as a whole. Case in point, like we saw the Tank fight. Me and Ant, we were on earlier today, and it was like punches were thrown and people were saying they were landing, and we showed it and they weren't landing, and it was tremendous defense. But many people would see the activity and be like, "Oh, yep, that was a rope round." And when you watch it, you truly watch it and watch what's going on. The person who can't play no defense, who don't have no defense, the person who's not a boxer was out there boxing phenomenally and showing excellent defense.
Right.
And, you know, wasn't getting landed upon. So it just looked like it was worse than what it really was.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with people, this is because they don't like him. So because they don't like him or they wish for him to lose, they'll sit there and look at something.
Yeah. Look for something negative to happen, you know? Look for the negative side of everything.
Look for the negative. And that's what we can do with Tyson, man. The bottom line. Yo, Tyson.
You got real low to you.
Hold on, let me.
Mike Williams, the speed of Mike Tyson on the defense, the offense would have been tough for Lewis. Mike knew how to get on the inside. Mike Williams.
It would have been tough. But he also presents a look for Lennox that he's never faced either. His suddenness and his ability to close distance, not to give him a target that's like static. He keeps giving you motion. He gives you different looks, levels, and he's coming from a smaller to up hit. And he lunges and he's pretty explosive in that. So it would have been a great fight, man. I think I wish it was a fight that we could have saw. But like I said, that was pre-Robin Givens. Anything after Robin Givens, Tyson still was Tyson, but he wasn't the same Tyson. Like Ali coming back from that war, he still was Ali, and he was a lot better than a lot of folk.
Right.
But he wasn't what he was before. He was just superior to everybody
else. That's right. Yeah. Now, you know, Tyson and Lewis would have been better in 96. You know, they fought in 2002, but if they would have fought in 96.
Yeah, 96, it would have been a much better showing, for sure.
Then,
But like I say, at that point in time, Tyson was the Tyson that was biting ears and crying in the ring and doing all kind of stuff, man. So, you know, he wasn't all the way right mentally, and that's not the opponent's fault. But it's like an asterisk. And while you can always argue against what I'm saying, you can also argue for it because it is legitimate.
That's right.
And unfortunately, you know, for Tyson, it wasn't his very best outing that he could have, and it was for many reasons. But shout out Lawrence Lewis. He was a tremendous boxer, and he was able to incorporate that jab to make it difficult for you to touch him.
Yeah. When Emmanuel Stewart came in, that's when the jab became potent. Remember?
But yeah, man. I mean, we got some interesting fights coming up too. So
yeah, Mendy Arnie was just talking about a couple. He's talking about the Berlanga and Shiraz fight coming up. That's on the Shakur. That's a good card on the Shakur.
That card is pretty dang solid for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully it plays out that way. Hopefully it plays out as solid as it looks on.
Got the I forgot his name already. The Puerto Rican fighter that was knocking everybody out lost to Paro. Matias on there, right? Yeah. You keep fading out, Peter.
I got a couple of people calling me, man.
Okay.
All right, man. I'll catch you tomorrow for sure.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna go get on out of here. You going, T Hill? Your T Hill done faded out. Okay, well, we got Thomas Hill in here for a few minutes. I'm wondering where it was at. BBO still ain't coming up. BBO must be gone. Okay. We'll be over there at 8 o'clock to holler at BBO. Trust the Legend, 6 a.m. in the morning. But now it's time for Just Do Boxing. Okay, who was in here, though? We had Thomas Hill, BVO Sports TV, Mike Mazik, Terrell Cameron, Crush the Legend, Al Booger, Bruce Gass, Define Arnie, Mike Rim, and Miss Cass. Appreciate every one of y'all, 1,000%. We'll be back tomorrow with the life and career of Vernon Forrest. Because if it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Just Do coming up next. Well, Just Do is probably already in progress, so don't meet me there, beat me there. This is Cass Sports. Everybody have a great afternoon.